Professor Pat Murphy, and I'd like to welcome all of you to the second Berges lecture for the fall 2012 year. Our speaker today is Jim Sinegal, co-founder and director of Costco Corporation. He and his co-partner founded Costco in 1983. Prior to that time, he spent 30 years in the retail business, beginning when he was 18 years old and going to college, as we heard at lunch, part-time. And he worked for 25 years in discount merchandising with predecessors to Costco, which I'm sure we'll hear about today. What most of us know, and maybe a few of you do not know, is Costco is known for the wages it pays employees, and it's a very stakeholder-oriented company with the emphasis on employees and customers. And his philosophy and the philosophy of the company is that good returns to shareholders will happen if you take good care of those stakeholders. Costco is now the 7th largest retailer in the world with almost 600 locations and over 425 in the U.S., and as most of you know, they emphasize high quality and low prices. And just doing a little research, 1 year ago today, the Washington Post, 9/10/2011, had an article written on leadership, Costco Chief Executive Jim Sinegal. He could probably charge more for the goods in his store, but Sinegal holds fast to the mantra that nothing in the warehouse should be marked up more than 14 or 15% from cost. His discipline is legendary. People have historically asked, "Who is your toughest customer?" says the chief financial officer. He said, and I say Jim. Consider, in 2003, Costco hadn't raised its health care premiums to employees for 9 years, was going to miss earnings estimate due to rising costs. Sinegal was adamantly against raising premiums. Finally, he relented. He wrote a letter to employees promising they wouldn't pay more than 10% of the overall cost. And one last point, that in coordinating this lecture series for some years, I've talked to assistants and executives in a lot of companies. This is the only man who ever picks up his own phone who's the CEO or chairman of a company. Please join me in giving a rousing Notre Dame welcome to Jim Sinegal.
Thank you, Pat. Is this on? Okay. Thank you very much, Pat. Have you all been into a Costco? Yes. Have you all had the hot dogs? Yes. Okay. All right, we can start. I'm going to show a little film here, and this is something that we present every one of our at our annual meetings. And typically, we just take some films and stories that are done on us, some comedic, some newsworthy, and we'll tell you a little bit about this. This is condensed a little bit from what we had at the shareholders meeting. And it's a little bit dated because the shareholders meeting was last January, but you'll get the picture. You'll soon get the picture. All right, Alan, where are you when we need you here? Okay. No.
I want to end with this one here because he talks a little bit about Costco. He's a board member at Costco. Berkshire, also an investor there. He says that Costco, it's almost a religious duty at Costco for them, and that Costco is just about the most admirable capitalist enterprise that's ever existed. So high praise about Costco from Charlie Munger.
Okay. We are learning more about the dramatic takedown of Osama bin Laden. The president, Hillary Clinton, and other top officials watched the raid on bin Laden's mansion in real time. And photos from inside the White House show how they were all on the edge of their seats. Paul Boyd has details.
Tension is etched in the faces of everyone in the White House Situation Room.
White House staffers reportedly rushed out to buy food for the group watching at Costco. Isn't that great? What's more American than killing Osama bin Laden while biting into a Kirkland brand turkey wrap? There's nothing at all. Costco helped help bring down bin Laden. There has never been a more resounding confirmation of our way of life than that.
Now, one analyst we spoke with says none of these stores can really hold a candle to Costco.
Costco is the best retailer in the world.
I have a big bias that your first stop looking for a diamond should be Costco Wholesale.
This out, the bulk retailer is selling a single 6-carat diamond ring online. The platinum solitaire ring is worth $1.6 million, but being Costco, it's only selling for a cool $1 at a savings of 37%.
What's the best store out there and what's the worst? There's a brand new survey just in this morning that rates stores based on Facebook comments, all right? And guess what? Yours go-to store, Costco, gets the most good comment.
Hey guys, yes, an exciting day here in Lodi. Their new Costco has opened. Thousands of people coming in. Excuse me? Thousands of people like. What's your name?
Ginger Hanashiro.
And who you with?
I'm with my son Zachary.
Right, so you brought a personal shopper with you. What kind of deals did you find? Nice and shiny new Costco.
It's the best. I love Costco. There's so many good things to get. I mean, you can't beat the prices. The gas prices are the best. So we're going to go fill up.
Growing up in New York City, we didn't have a Costco's, but a couple of years ago, I went to my first Costco's out on Long Island, and it was a revelation to me. It was like cheapskate heaven for me. It was really what my idea of heaven is. My problem is that at Costco's, I am too impulsive when I shop. I got my Costco card, take my cart, and let's go. I just don't feel like there's any real difference. I buy like 1 or 2 of these a day at the gym, and I think they're like $4 or $5 each at the gym. So actually, no, why not? I'm gonna buy. You know what? I drink these every day. I'm gonna buy 4 of them.
What are you shopping for?
Just the Armageddon.
Okay. Is that happening?
I don't know.
You would know.
Yes, Meg Whitman, billionaire CEO of eBay, buys bulk.
I have bought clothes here. I have bought T-shirts, sweatshirts. I bought my kids, dress shirts. Sure. $14. It's awesome.
And she says things.
Look at the size of the salmon. It's unbelievable.
You've probably said in Costco.
We head over to Wholesale Club Costco. Here we found designer shades from labels that are normally reserved for the high-end department stores. Labels like Jimmy Choo, Christian Dior, and Burberry. These Todd sunglasses retail for $300, but at Costco they cost $115. That's a savings of $185.
That's why I love Costco. The prices are great, cheap, inexpensive. For just the same designer glasses.
Ray-Bans that normally retail for $179 are $68.99. Maui Gyms that retail for $150 are $79.99.
Gayleen Gorbizo knows a thing or two about paying for prescription drugs. Both of her aging parents take several.
Unfortunately, I'm savvy on my mother and my father's behalf.
So when she filled a prescription for her mother's Alzheimer's medication, a generic, and not using insurance at this Rite Aid in Cherry Creek, she almost had a heart attack.
It was $276.
After the shock wore off, Gorbizo started looking for other options.
What was your reaction when you found out that you could have gone to Costco and gotten that exact same prescription for $15?
Well, somewhere between livid and my heart just really broke for those people that don't have an advocate on their behalf, children or anyone to help them out.
Now to a move by one of the country's biggest bargain stores that just may revolutionize the American wedding. The average U.S. couple will spend nearly $27,000 on their wedding day. Yes, a big expense, especially for couples footing the bill themselves. So what if you could save thousands of dollars on a wedding dress by a top designer on the grocery aisle? Recent bride, Bianca Galadria, well, she went shopping.
Here comes the bride. To Costco?
That's right, the discount retailer most famous for bulk toilet paper and mixed nuts just got into the bridal game. Bob the handler not included. Hello.
But a dress for every budget, well, that depends.
And how much does this retail for?
This retails for $12.99.
And how much would this cost at one of your other boutiques?
Well, probably about $3,900.
Oh, geez, you could just go to Costco and not bring you back some goodies. George, I got some animal crap. What are you laughing at?
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
Always the bridesmaid is Eddie.
These are
got some
peanut
animal
capsules, like it.
Okay.
Robin got you some Gatorade.
Well, I do have that exercise segment
That's
coming
right.
up. Thank you. Please, do you want to have a seat? Can you sit?
Eddie, ready?
Who's getting the angel song?
There we go. Oh, everybody needs some toilet paper.
So how much is the dress you're wearing right now?
What I have is $1,000. So this isn't cheap, but when you're talking about this specific designer, you're spending 40% less at Costco as opposed to how much you would pay at any other boutique. And they are selling well. They're saying that they're getting bookings for fittings left and right, and they're going to bring it to the East Coast in the coming months.
It is beautiful. Oh, I like the shoes.
No, those are mine.
Costco has just started selling designer wedding dresses for 40% less than boutiques. Yeah, it's a typical Costco deal. You're like, I wasn't planning on getting married, but 40% off. This is... Package of 50 wedding dresses? I gotta do it. Get 49 of them.
So Costco doesn't advertise, as probably many of you know, and so we really count on these stories being picked up because they tell a lot of stories about our products as well. And they're always in the same form. They're making fun of the sizes that we have of products and, of course, indicating what our values are for our products. To give you an indication of how we got started, it'll be next month. It'll be 30 years since my partner, Jeff Brotman, and I got together and drew up plans to start a business. We were going to clone a business that I had worked for in California called the Price Club in San Diego. And the Price Club had been founded in 1976. And Jeff and I went out, and with our own money and with money that we raised from networking with friends and acquaintances, we raised $7.5 million. We got that done in February of 1983. And we used that to hire our first 10 founding officers. About that time, because the Price Club had been such a successful business, there were a lot of other clones started. Sam's was started by Walmart. BJ's was started by an organization in the East Coast called Zayres. Pace was associated with Kmart. And then there were a couple of independents, the Wholesale Club and the Warehouse Club in the Midwest. And then in the Northwest, Price Savers started, and that was run by the biggest retailer in that area. It was a Pay and Save drugstore chain. This is a picture of our first Costco. That little addendum you see on the building there was our home office. And of course, it was always gray and it was always raining at that time. We have since rebuilt on that very same site. As you can see, it's a much brighter environment now. We included everything that we have added to our businesses since then, because when we started, we had no meat departments or bakeries or products like that. And so we've added all of those departments. The original business plan, we sold to our investors that we thought we could eventually grow to 12 warehouses. We considered ourselves a Northwest company. And you see there the cities that we thought that we could operate in, and we told our investors that we thought if we could average about $80 million per business, that we could become a $1 billion business and generate about 3% profit. The first year of operation, we opened 3 warehouses in Seattle, in Portland, and Spokane. Additional warehouses were opened in Salt Lake City and Tacoma, which is just south of Seattle, South Center, which is a bedroom community in Seattle, and Tampa, Florida. You say, well, you were a Northwest company. How in the world did you get down to Tampa, Florida? It was becoming apparent to us that there was a much bigger market available for us than we originally thought, and we were looking for a place where we could group about 10 or 12 Costco's in Florida seemed to fit the bill there. In 1985, we opened up in San Francisco and in Canada. In 1986, we opened up in the Midwest, in Milwaukee and in Minneapolis. In 1987, we got out of the Midwest. It's a very serious issue. I can only explain it by saying that we clearly underwhelmed them, and we were doing the classic thing of spending 80% of our time on 20% of the problem, and so we closed those units. In 1988, we introduced our fresh foods programs, which were meat and bakery and seafood and produce. 1992, we opened up in Mexico City. In 1993, we opened up in the UK, in one of the bedroom communities outside of London. In 1993, we also merged with that Price Club that I mentioned earlier, which was the company that we had cloned. In 95, we opened up in South Korea. And one of the things about Asia is land is very scarce and very dear. And so we have to go vertical. So instead of one floor of sell, we now have, in this particular building, 2 sales floors with people movers that take people up and down, and 5 levels of parking. We opened up in New York in 1994. In 97, we expanded our membership. Everybody buys a membership at Costco. We expanded it to an executive member where they paid us $100, and they also had a whole menu of services that they received, like check processing and auto insurance and telephone service. And in addition, they got a 2% rebate on all of their purchases. In 99, we got into the e-commerce business. Today, that's a business of over $2 billion for us. We have one of the hallmarks of our e-commerce business is that we've been profitable since the year we started it. So even though we started at a time when there was the dot-com bust, we were very profitable there. And it's interesting, if you see one product right there, that was a Picasso print that we sold for $40,000 online. In 1999, we opened up in Japan. I'm in the center there, and immediately to my left is my partner, Jeff. And the gray-haired gentleman you see there is Tom Foley, who was the former Speaker of the House and eventually was ambassador to Japan. And the young man behind the hammer there is one of my sons, who moved over to Japan and started that Japanese business for us. And we now have 13 Costcos in Japan. In the year 2000, we started a travel business with great packages for tours and cruises. 2001, we offered some kiosks on special order items like furniture and closet. In 2004, we had a new Amex co-branded card, Costco card and an Amex card with rebates for our consumers. In 2006, we opened up some car washes in some of our Seattle and California locations. Costco today is the dominant membership warehouse operator. They've got a very strong balance sheet, a lot of merchandise excitement and member loyalty. Our members renew at something in excess of 89% every year. We've got a strong, cohesive management team, and we're committed to continuing to grow our business and building market share. Today, we're the second largest retailer in the U.S. That's if you were to include all of our sales, our total sales as a U.S. retailer. If you just included our U.S. sales, we'd be the 5th largest doing business in the U.S., 7th largest in the world, and the 24th largest Fortune 500 company, and a market cap of about $42 billion. Our sales for the year that just ended, and our year just ended last Sunday, were $97 billion. We have 608 warehouses in 40 states and Puerto Rico and 9 countries. The hallmark of our business is that we generate very high volumes. Our average warehouse in 2011 did $146 million. I think it jumped up to $154 million for 2012. So we've got 86 million square feet of what we refer to as warehouse space. The average warehouse that we have is 142,000 feet. We've got 169,000 employees worldwide, and we have almost 2 million transactions every day. You see here where the warehouses are located. There are 608 of them, 439 in the U.S. and 82 in Canada, and you see the numbers on down there. We just opened our 9th in Taiwan this past week. We have 36 million households shopping with us, or almost 67 million people that are running around with a Costco card in their wallet. And they're very loyal. They, as I mentioned, they renew at a 90% rate, which is higher than we ever planned in our business plan. And that represents $2.1 billion in cash fees over the last 12 months. The demographics it may surprise you somewhat. It's a very high-end customer, so people think of a warehouse type of operation and think maybe it's a lower-end customer. It's actually a very high-end customer because so many of our customers are the people who run businesses. The average household income in the U.S. is about $68,000, and our average member's income is about $94,000, so big spread there. Household income over $100,000, almost 33% of our customers have a household income of over $100,000. Higher percentage of college graduates, higher percentage of home ownership, and as you might expect, slightly older because they're business owners in many instances than the average. The sales, the hallmark, as I mentioned earlier, is very high volume. If you look over on the right-hand side there, you see 2012. We had one warehouse that did over $400 million. Actually, it almost did $500 million. That was one of our warehouses in Seoul, South Korea. Our Hawaii warehouse, if any of you have been over to Hawaii in the Iwalei area, that warehouse did almost $400,000 this year. And as you can see there, we have 126 of our businesses that do more than $200 million a year in sales. We don't know of another chain operation of size and substance like this that averages anywhere close to that type of volume. This is a picture that's meant to impress you. The amount of people shopping in there. That's, I think, one of our UK locations. Our strengths, obviously the 66 million members. Strong renewals. We have established in our minds, and it's been written by analysts, that we have established absolute pricing authority. When customers see something in Costco, they expect it to be the lowest price that they're going to find, and we are perceived to be the best and lowest low-cost provider on all the merchandise. We have fantastic employees, great merchandise. We have a treasure hunt atmosphere that we continually build up, and that would mean that we're continually bringing things in like True Religion jeans that we sell for $100 that are $170 in a department store, or we'll bring in a Coach handbag that's $150, maybe $300 in a department store. Those types of things are really what spruces up our whole product selection. And we're nimble. We can move pretty quickly because of the disciplines of our business. And we have continually built a quality image. Customers will tell you that the image of Costco, in addition to great value, the first thing they think about is its great quality, that every product that we sell has very high quality standards. The strategy is a very simple one, but disciplined. We have a very limited selection, something less than 4,000 items that we carry. To put that into perspective, if you were to go into a Walmart or a Target superstore, where they carry essentially the same categories of merchandise that we have, they'd have about 140,000 items. So as you can see, we have really pre-selected the merchandise to bring the best values that we can find in every single category to the marketplace. It's high-quality national brands with a selected private label offering. We have to be able to show a substantial savings on everything we sell. That doesn't mean that somebody can't sell Coke below cost for a weekend and beat us in price, but day in and day out, we have to be the best price. To give you an idea how disciplined we are on that, in the city of Portland for 5 years, we discontinued selling sugar because every merchant in town was selling sugar below cost. So we said, why would a customer want to come to Costco and buy sugar when we're not going to sell below cost? We don't sell items below cost. We can't save them any money. if we're not priced right on sugar, they have every reason to believe that we're not the right price on a Panasonic television set or on our Michelin tires. And so we got rid of the product until the market changed. We've engaged in a lot of packaging innovation, and a lot of new products and services have been added. And of course, that treasure hunt, which I kept mentioning. That's really the key. When we're doing the best job in merchandising is when we are augmenting our basic selection with about 1,000 items that are constantly changing, so that a customer comes in one time and they see that we have some Tag Heuer watches for sale, and they come in the next time and they're not there, but we have a leather jacket from Mark of New York that we're selling for $159. Give you an idea, if you were to go into a typical supermarket, you would probably find about 350 items in the cereal aisle. We go out and we have about 12 items we carry. We go out and find the biggest box of Cheerios in the Western world and put them on a pallet and stack them out there. Now, the good news is it's a great buy, but you better like Cheerios, because you're going to have them for a while. TVs, this past year, last year, we sold over $1.9 billion. My guess is that's probably about $2.2 billion for the year that just ended. Cameras have become a big business for us here recently, and most particularly with the new technology that's out on these cameras. The diamonds, you saw the story before. We sold last year 103,000 carats of diamonds. I tell everybody I have no idea what that means, but it's a very impressive number. And we've actually sold recently, just across the street, a $240,000 diamond just here 2 weeks ago. And there's the example of the $1 million diamond that we were selling. We had it online, and we also had photos in the warehouses to make everybody aware of it. I think these are 7 for Mankind jeans that we were selling for $109. Our Kirkland Signature shirt, which is our label, Kirkland Signature. As a matter of fact, this is a Kirkland Signature that I have on. Don't judge it by the way it looks on me. It's actually a high-quality product, and button for button, stitch for stitch, it would be comparable to Nordstrom's private label that sells for about $70. This says $18.99, and just yesterday we lowered the price to $17.99 on that shirt. So rush out and get them, guys. Fine wine, we are the biggest merchant of wine in the world, and an awful lot of it is very good wine. We sell over $1.3 billion in wine totally, and about 681,000 would be what we would refer to as fine wines. The produce, we're now sourcing from 41 different countries so that we're able to bring you blueberries in November and December as a result of our sourcing, because we can get them out of Chile and Argentina. And that will be about a $4 billion business for us there. Seafood, road shows that we have that will generate this year probably about $1 billion. Our bakery sales, fresh bakery sales, baked from scratch in our warehouses. Here's a picture. This is an actual customer going out with pumpkin pies. I want to tell you, at Thanksgiving, being in the warehouses and seeing those pies, they're trying to bring them out on the floor, and before they can get them to a position to stock them, the people are following the guy with the pallet jack, and they're taking them off the pallet jack. It's enough to bring a tear to your eye. The meat sales, 4.6 million. I think that probably Costco's meat department is one of our signature departments, and probably we run better meat departments than any operator in the country. Rotisserie chickens, 55 million rotisserie chickens. That's $4.99 for that chicken. As college students, you guys got to all get over there and get those. They're fantastic. And Kirkland Signature is our private label. Kirkland is where our home office used to be, and right after we settled on this name, and we use it on everything that we put on our own brand, we moved our offices to Issaquah. And so we couldn't spell Issaquah properly, or we didn't think anybody else could, so we kept the Kirkland name. Some products like peanut butter cups and scotch, a 20-year-old single malt scotch. Silk ties. This is a silk tie that we're selling for $19.99 that would be comparable to a $135 tie. We sold our services on our auto-buying program this past year. In the U.S., we sold 250,000 cars, and in Canada, another 60,000 cars. Our food court, over 100 million hot dog and Coke combinations. I've been showing this picture for a long time. This woman catches me. She's going to kill me. The optical, 3.2 million pair of glasses sold this past year, and you saw the ads relative to the sunglasses there, or the TV bits. Hearing aids, 424 locations now have hearing aid stations. That's it, obviously, as you can imagine, with the aging population, that's becoming a bigger business. And we have a Kirkland Signature hearing aid that is a value, it's a $5,000 value that we're selling for less than $2,000. And that did $51 million this past year. In the pharmacy, 35 million prescriptions. And that story that was done on the generics has been done in a variation of that story has been done on television in every major community across the U.S. You can imagine the type of free advertising that you get when they come out with a story like they did on that for a $15 generic drug that someone else was charging $278 for. Gasoline. This is one of our Hawaii warehouses, and there's the lines for our gasoline. We'll sell this past year. This is $8.7 billion in fiscal year 11. The year just ended, and I think we went up above $10 billion in gasoline. Okay.
Is she talking about the gas prices around the valley that seem to keep growing? Or the line of cars that keeps growing at Costco?
This is the place to be today.
While a lot of gas stations are sporting prices in the $1.47 range, guzzling gas will cost you 20 cents less, $1.28 per gallon at Costco in Scottsdale. Costco says their price structure helps keep these prices low, but not everyone can get in on the deal.
You must be a Costco member to buy gas here at Costco.
For some members, it seems the Costco name, coupled with the long lines, was enough to reel them in.
But apparently it's got to be cheaper here. That's why I'm here.
Oh, so you haven't even seen the prices yet?
I have no idea what they're going to charge.
As a retailer, you love a customer like that. I showed it for a couple of reasons. It's a dated film, obviously. I wanted to make you nostalgic for $1.47 gasoline. That was typical of stories that are done on television. You can imagine having a story done on the 11 o'clock news like that, that you don't have to pay for. Our mission is very simple. We are constantly striving to bring goods and services to market at the lowest possible price. We spend all of our energies looking at every single item and trying to determine how we can lower the price and how we can get it to the customer for a lower price. And that's through operating efficiencies and cost containment at every level of our business. But it truly is our mission. We spend all of our time, all of our energies working in that direction. Why have we succeeded? We never had an exit strategy. We could have sold the business dozens of times. Probably we're too big to sell it now, but we wouldn't anyway. That was never a strategy of ours. It was to operate a business that would still be functioning 50 and 60 years from now. We understand the disciplines of selling goods at low prices. Anybody can sell goods at low prices. The trick is being able to do it and make a profit while you're doing it. We've assembled a great team who has stayed with us through the whole time. We're good merchants. We know how to buy and sell goods. It's a fun place to work, and we've had a lot of good luck during the years that have helped us out and pushed us ahead. And you'd have to be a fool not to recognize that there was some good fortune along the line as we continue to grow. Our operational controls, it's probably easier to tell you what we don't do. We don't advertise. We have no PR department. We don't take the major credit cards other than Amex. We don't take MasterCard or Visa. We have no bags. Everything goes back in the boxes that they came in. No high shrink items. If it's a high shrinkage item, an item that is subject to theft or loss. And no fancy facilities. Every year, there's an American Consumer Satisfaction Index. And obviously, the reason I'm showing you this is that we're at the top and that we are the best and rated the best and have consistently been rated the highest satisfaction index of any of the major retailers across the country. Our code of ethics is very simple. We think that as a company, we have 4 things that we have to do. We got to obey the law. We got to take care of our customers. We got to take care of our people and respect our suppliers. And we think if we do those 4 things, pretty much in that order, that will do what any public company has to do, which is to reward its shareholders. We think it's possible to reward them short term by falling down on one of these things, but we think long term, if you're not paying attention to these 4 things, you're going to stub your toe and get into serious trouble. Since the day that we started and the day we went public in December of '85, it's been now almost 27 years, our net sales have grown at a 13.8% compounded rate. Our net income at a 13.4% compounded rate, and our stock price at a 16.6% compounded rate. Now, somebody asked me a question earlier today, do you get a lot of heat from Wall Street? And yes, we do. They constantly remind us that we could charge a little more for the merchandise, and they constantly remind us that we don't have to have such a healthy benefit package or such a healthy wage package. And one of them recently asked me, when is it going to be the shareholders' time? And I've told them and showed them these numbers, and I said, it ain't going to get any better than this. If we would be delighted if we could continue to show that type of an increase over the next 27 years. It will be a real challenge for us to continue to do that. The people are, great. We promote almost 100% from within our company. Our employees stay with us. The average person, average hourly rate on the sales floor in one of our warehouses is over $20. That would contrast with about $11.50 at Target or Walmart. Very low turnover, 10% annually and 5.8% if they stay with us for a year. So we'd rather turn our inventory than our people. The imperatives in our business are to continue to improve in the next 15 years as we have in the past. We can't rest on our laurels. We tell our managers that if we're going to succeed, we better be prepared to make the same types of improvements ongoing as we made the past 15 years. Be a moving target so that the competition is always chasing us, that we're always coming up with the new ideas and they're trying to chase us and get into the same categories. We want to be a core value to all of our stakeholders. The quality of the products and the operation is a highlight for us. We like to think like a small company, and that's very difficult when you're doing almost $100 billion and you have 170,000 employees. But we do try to operate and think like a small company. Consumer Reports recently rated us the very best of all the big box retailers. That was an issue that came out just a couple of months ago. They rated us the best, not just in our warehouses, but also online, that we were the best online. And Fortune magazine every year picks the 50 most admired companies in the world, and we have consistently been on this list for the last 6 years. This is a picture of one of our warehouses in Australia, this is a new market for us. We only have 3 buildings there. And as you can see, it was a riot. Well, this thing gets touchy every now and again.
Big news today was Woolies and Coles, watch out, there's a new player in town. It's called Costco. It's a US chain of hypermarkets. They opened their first branch in Australia this morning. It was almost 1,000 people queued up with their massive trolleys. I actually went there this afternoon. It's unbelievable what they sell, and the trolleys can get people into trouble. You know how a normal sized trolley can hurt when you get your heel clipped? Have a look at what happens when someone's heel gets clipped in a minute, all right? We're going to get to this footage in a minute.
Right, I ask you, are they big trolleys or small people?
No, they are big trolleys because everything is... Oh, that's the matter.
I would have been there this morning. I spent Saturday night playing Pictionary and writing my shopping list for going to Costco.
Now, to find out more, let's cross to Alicia McCormick, who is live at Costco right now. Alicia, what is a Costco?
Costco is massive. I can't even describe how big this place is. Basically, it's a supermarket where you have to buy a membership for $60, and there are actually 58 million people around the world that have a membership to this place, and you get big discounts apparently, and everything is huge here. Look at this, Vegemite. This is the smallest Vegemite. And also, look at this, mayonnaise the size of my head. It's crazy. Also, they sell lots of different things. You can buy your milk and bread, as a normal supermarket visit would be, and then pop over to jewellery and buy a $160,000 engagement ring. That's 5 carats. Right in this warehouse. It's insane.
That's amazing. And wouldn't that impress your fiancé-to-be when you said, yeah, got this at Costco?
Hey, look, if it's 5 carats, I'm not asking where it's from.
This is a picture of one of our openings in Japan, meant to impress you. And more pictures from, this is from Nagasaki. And that's in the UK. So in Taiwan, we sell this big bear, stuffed bear, for $29.99. And in Taiwan, everybody rides on these motor scooters around the city. And you are amazed at what they can get on these motor scooters. I mean, they get detergent and toilet paper and everything else on these things. And this guy was creative. He tied that bear to his back and was riding down the road there. And this is a picture of our Costco in Cabo San Lucas. You can go down there and watch the cruise ships come in and have a hot dog and Coke for $1.50. So that's the story. And
Thank you, Jim. We have time for some questions here. Either come down to the microphone or stand up and please. Lee, all right, stand up, please.
I'm very curious that as a very successful company, why you don't open a store in mainland China? I mean, what's the main challenge or what's the main considerations for you?
The question is, yes, many places as we are and with as many countries as we're dealing in, why haven't we opened in mainland China? We've looked at China several times, and I think, and I'm positive, we will go to China eventually, but there are a lot of problems in China right now. A lot of problems with the economy, a lot of problems with, the biggest problem is corruption. And it's something that has us very nervous relative to the bribes that are paid. And so until such time as we feel comfortable that we can go, China's been there a long time. We think it'll be there 5 years from now. and we'll go when we think we're ready to go. And we've got a lot of things on our plate right now that we're going to take care of.
And this young lady was just telling me about the corruption in China in my office today, so she knows exactly what you're talking about. Someone else, yes, stand up, please.
Hi, you mentioned a couple times that one of your main goals is to have happy employees, your future employees happy with the company. What strategies do you employ for people in your position or that work in the corporate offices to know what the employees are feeling on the shop floor?
If I understand your question, do we have a system to be able to get feedback from what's happening out on the floor? Well, the most obvious one is that we are continually out in our buildings. I personally travel about 200 days a year. So I'm out visiting. While I was back here, I was visiting our places in Chicago. You get a pretty good reading on the temperature of the employees and how they feel about the company and how they feel about the job that they have by being out there in the field. We promote almost 100% from within our company. If you were to look at one of our warehouse managers, and that's a person that runs a very big job for us, they have all been with us a long time. They more than likely started when they were a student, probably pushing shopping carts out in the parking lot. They worked their way through school, and they're now running a business that's $150 million and has probably 350 to 400 employees and $15 million worth of inventory, and a very responsible position and a very highly paid position as well. And everybody in the company knows that that's where those managers have come from. They know that they have all come from working out in those warehouses and have worked their way up in the system. That's the way we promote in our company. So we provide careers, not just jobs, to anybody that wants a career.
Good. Over here.
So I have two questions, one more serious than the other, but there is a small wholesale retailer here in South Bend, Sam's Club. I don't know if you've heard of it. But no Costco. I had to drive to Chicago. Do you have any plans to build a Costco here?
You know, I've been here 3 days, and I've been asked that question about 37 times.
That's excellent market research.
And, obviously, as a result of all those questions, we're going to take a closer look. It's not on our radar screen right at the moment, but it could probably get there. We'll take a look at it. Who was that competitor that was there?
I've heard of them. I don't know. But my more serious question is, I mean, right now we have you and also Jeff Brotman at the helm, and what's really the succession plan to ensure that Costco going forward 30 years from now is still such a respectable company?
Well, I guess what Pat didn't describe is that I was the co-founder with Jeff, and it was the CEO for the 30 years. And I've recently retired. I'm still working and helping in the transition, so they can't even get me out of the office. But I'll probably continue to do that through about February of next year. The fellow who's taken over, Craig Jelnick, started with us back in 1984, so just a year after we had been open. And he was a warehouse manager for us, and the company is in very good hands. He understands the philosophy and the culture of the company and will continue to maintain that culture, I'm confident. And so we feel very good. And I would be very surprised if whoever takes Craig's place in the future wouldn't have been a warehouse manager also. I think that's probably a requirement that they would have run one of our businesses to be able to go up and eventually become the CEO.
Try. Yes.
Basically, I guess, well, thanks for keeping the hot dog prices low, by the way.
Okay.
Hot dog combos, they're great. But the other thing is, I guess your secret sauce is the membership fees, I would think. I mean, how are you beating out these other guys? How did you? I mean, I know there was the business model was out there. How are you able to, I guess, overtake them and use those membership fees to buy such a focused product? How do you determine?
Are you talking specifically about the hot dog, or?
That was a separate comment.
Okay.
The hot dog was a separate comment.
But how do we buy products? And
Yeah.
well, you know, we've always had the attitude that we were going to price the products as though we were buying them right. And so when we started in business, even though we might not have been able to buy a truckload of an item, we priced it as though we could buy it in the largest quantity. That was enough to tell us whether or not we were going to be successful with the item and whether or not we could eventually get to a truckload quantity on the purchase. So, you know, through the years, when you have only 4,000 products compared to the 140,000 that our competitors carry, each one of those products is much more important because of the volume that it generates. So that gets the attention of the suppliers. They recognize that we can move a lot of their product in our warehouses as a result of the way we're merchandising and the way we sell the goods.
Over here, the young lady, second row.
One of my family's favorite parts about going to Costco are the samples offered on the floor of the products, and I was wondering how offering samples factors into Costco's strategy, and also if you see a strong correlation of sales of the products that you offer on the floor.
Well, the samples are very important to us because in many instances, most particularly on some of the unique products that we've put together, they're not available out in the general market, particularly our private labels and particularly some of the food service packages. Those things that go to restaurants are not necessarily seen in supermarkets. So sampling them became something that we decided to do to acquaint the customers with the merchandise. And of course, the customers love it. They love to go around there. They nosh and go around eating as they go through the warehouse. And I was telling a group earlier that a couple of years back, Jay Leno did a program that he called Date Night at Costco. And where the guy takes his date to Costco and they walk around and eat all the samples. And then they bought one of those big bags of popcorn that we had and took it up to the TVs and watched a movie up in the TVs. So, the samples, the customers love the samples.
Yes, over there.
Can you talk about your strategy in expanding globally? Talk about some of your biggest challenges, be it sourcing, economic, cultural differences.
Well, we were partners for a period of time with a company called Carrefour, which is the second largest retailer in the world. They do business, they're a French company. And they taught us early on that every country is a valley of tears, that you got to work your way through all of the issues that are involved there. You have to learn the laws, you have to learn how to do business there, you have to learn which products are preferred by the customers. An interesting thing has happened to us in Asia, that as we continue to enhance our product selection of U.S. goods, we've gotten the products that we sell, the U.S. products that we sell, up to about 33% in South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. Very high demand for those products. The biggest selling product that we have in Japan, as an example, is Downy fabric softener. I have no idea what they're doing with it. I thought for a while they were drinking it, but it's the biggest selling product. And you know what they say? They say this smells like America. And so American goods have a lot of appeal over there. And we're very unique. I mean, we're the only people doing business in those countries that have that type of product selection available. Now, we have to go out also and find a lot of products locally and in Asia to augment what we're bringing in from the U.S. And, we find we were not an overnight success in any of those countries. You have to build the infrastructure, you have to set the system. It takes years to become profitable. The only place where we have been a success right out of the gate is Australia. I showed you that picture there. That's the biggest openings, the 3 units that we opened down there, the biggest openings we've ever had in a new market anywhere. I'm including the U.S. in that, relative to success. So those countries, each one of those countries will be very difficult, and hence the reason that we would wait on China until we were ready and we had taken care of everything that we've done in these other countries. We've got lots of places to grow in those countries that we're in right now.
Jim, we have a lot of students in here that are enrolled in ethics courses, both in undergrad and MBA, and I know you emphasized your employees, but as advice for students going into the world, and I know that you've not compromised your ethics, and part of the reason for the success of Costco, you're probably too humble to say it, is because of its strong focus on values, but maybe you could kind of leave us with a few thoughts on what advice you'd give for the incoming employees of the world.
Well, as you know, at dinner we talked about that very same subject with a group of about 6 or 7 students. I mean, the same advice. I mean, any students that I talk to, and I speak at several universities a year, any students that I talk to, I tell them, get involved in something you love and can become really build passion for. If you don't do that, if you don't start off with something that you love and you really enjoy going to work every single day, you're going to be miserable. If you get yourself into that position, get out and get into something that you can love. If you get into something that you love, you'll never have to work another day in your life. It will be fun going to work and you'll enjoy it. And that's the reason at this age I'm still working and I'm still visiting the place. I don't have to, but I do it because I love it. I chose this life and I chose what I'm doing. And that's my advice. And then the second piece of advice is somewhere in your career, you're going to meet somebody that you admire. Somebody that can become a mentor for you, and take advantage of that. There's nothing like finding someone that you admire from a standpoint of ethics, from operation skills, from merchandising skills, from any type of skill that they have, just general business skills, management skills. Find that person. I would suggest you try to be like a fly on the wall and watch everything that they do. So get yourself a mentor, even if they don't want you to be their mentor. I talked about this gentleman that I went to work for when I was 18. His name was Saul Price, and I worked for him for years and years, and stayed friends with him until his death a couple of years ago. And I was like I say, I was 18. I admired the guy so much, and he was definitely my mentor. And if I had ever said to him, Saul, you're my mentor, I think he would have said something very eloquent, like, cut the crap, kid, and get back to work. But he taught me everything that I know about the business.
Maybe one last question. Somebody in the far back there.
So, first of all, I'm pretty familiar. My mom works at Costco. But I know you guys got rid of Apple products a few years ago. Do you guys have any plans on bringing those back?
Apple products?
Yeah.
No, not at the moment. I mean, we've agreed to disagree. And it's a fine company. It's a marvelous product. But we can't do a deal.
And they're seriously in the retail business themselves.
Yeah, they're not here to defend themselves, so I'm not going to go into it.
Well, please join me in thanking Jim for an excellent lecture, and I'm sure you'll stay on for a few questions, those of you that had your hands up. Our next Berges lecture is the 18th of this month, back in 141 DeBartolo. Thank you for coming, and have a good night.